Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to switch things up a little bit. We're going to talk about my move to North Alabama and why I chose Huntsville, Alabama, and specifically why I chose Ditto Landing. Ditto Landing is not only my new home most of the time, but it is also the headquarters or the new national headquarters for kayak bass fishing. One of the first reasons that I decided to move here is I really love North Alabama, and I couldn't decide what I like better, Wheeler Lake or Guntersville Lake. And so as I was doing my exploration, I pretty much determined the best thing to do would be to live in the middle. So I started really looking hardcore into Huntsville. And then when I started looking into Huntsville, I found out about Ditto Landing. And then the more I looked into Ditto Landing and the more I learned about their master plan for redevelopment, I knew that I needed to be here. So we worked out a deal to move our national headquarters here. We're gonna go do a tour of that property here in just a second. But once I got to Huntsville, I figured out not only is it great because it's situated between, Wheeler and Guntersville, but there's a lot of great fishing right here. There's a creek that runs right down the back of the marina that's right out here in front of me, and it's super shallow most of the time and loaded with fish. In fact, the other day I was just playing with a reel off the bank and caught 5 or 6 spot. The marina itself offers great fishing. The Flint River's right down the road. It's not too far from a whole bunch of really good fishing. And then the fishing on the Tennessee River itself, if you manage or if you check out the release schedule on the TVA app, can be fantastic, especially fishing the bridge at night during the summer or in the middle of the winter when the flow is right. We're going to be doing some videos about that this summer, but this little creek that comes in from the side right here, right next to the base or right next to the marina, is awesome because it's super shallow at the mouth of it, and bass boats can only go so far, and then the whole rest of it turns into like a kayak fishing dream. You can paddle, get out, drag your kayak across a shoal, paddle another mile, get out, drag your kayak past the shoal. It goes all the way up into Huntsville, and the greenway runs parallel to it. So there's lots of access down it for bank fishing, lots of access for it for kayak fishing, but this is a pretty little creek, super shallow. We had a ton of rain in the past week, and look how fast this thing just clears right up. It's because of the orientation to the Tennessee River. The current goes that way and the water has to switch back to come up in here. So you're gonna get some of the runoff from the rain, but it just clears up in a snap. One of my favorite places for just a quick afternoon of fishing. Fishing in the marina itself is fantastic. So far I've seen a number of 5 and 6 pounders. The biggest fish that I've saw caught off the bank out of the marina was a little over 12 pounds. They do allow fishing all down through the marina. There's a kayak launch on Aldridge Creek side, and then there's a launch down by the Kayak Bass Fishing Headquarters, which we're about to go tour. What I really love about this place is it is a full service marina. They got a little store that's got all of your camping needs. There's 2 different campgrounds. There's a campground that's more, prepared primitive. In other words, it's got everything but sewer. And so it's got electric and it's got water, but it doesn't have sewer for your more short-term stays. And then where I'm staying over on the outside, full service hookups. Lots of green space, lots of places to fish, for folks that are stuck on the bank. But as you can see, that creek is super pretty green water. Like I said, it poured down rain all week long. Most of Guntersville, Wheeler, and the Tennessee River are just blown out. And this creek is like emerald green, clear to the bottom, and it is loaded with smallmouth spot, and every now and then you'll catch a decent largemouth out of there, but so far it's just been a phenomenal little spotted bass, fun fishery, and then tons of smallmouth in there. Haven't caught a monster out of there yet, but literally right at the mouth of Ditto Landing, I've caught one of the biggest smallmouth I've ever caught, just fun fishing, back when I first moved down here. There's a little backwater area back here that the fish spawn in, so that's going to be one of the areas I key on. And nobody can get back in there in a bass boat. So a lot of cool stuff right here in Huntsville. Again, they've got the boat house here. They've got 2 campgrounds, full service marina, long-term slips, short-term slips, long-term camping, short-term camping. And then we lucked out and they happened to have a building that was available, worked out a deal on it for a long-term lease to trade off for improvements. The building hasn't been occupied in a long time, so I'm gonna prepare you guys for this. It's gonna look rough, but I have a vision for what it could be. So let's head over to the KBF National Headquarters here at Ditto Landing down at Hobbs Island. I'll give you guys a quick lay of the land, and then we'll do a tour of the facility. What I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna engage with you knuckleheads that are part of our Knucklehead Nation that do a lot of DIY, that do a lot of home improvement or woodworking or things like that, because I'm going to do this whole thing myself, with the help of my friends, Austin, Terry, who's creeping back there in the back seat. Why is Terry with us today? Can you just give them a quick, why are you here?
Free meals, lunch.
No, anyway, Terry is the Ambassador Series Program Director for KBF. He came down for the weekend to help out with the Ambassador Series Championship, and then we're going to spend some time working on ways to better improve the Ambassador Series program, and then he's also going to help me develop the fish camp program, the curriculum, and how to make it the best possible deal that we can. As we're driving down the road here, I'm going to show you guys that there's some orange cones on the side of the road, and what those orange cones are is marking this construction that's going on. So the greenway that runs from all the way up at Redstone Arsenal Base, all the way pretty much is going to connect back to Knoxville, Tennessee, goes right past the KBF National Headquarters. And if you look right here, they're already starting to do a lot of work. So this was a wooded power line a week ago, and now we'll get Austin to flip the camera around. They have put in this road that connects with the Tennessee River. And the plan for that is there's going to be a big restaurant that they build back there on the water that you can access via this road, but you can also access it from the Tennessee River. So people that are transient coming through the area can stop there and have an awesome dinner on the Tennessee River. One thing I didn't mention when we were back by the bridge, it's one of the most beautiful sunsets, not just on the Tennessee River, but one of the most beautiful sunsets anywhere. And that restaurant's going to be overlooking that with outdoor dining, a deck. It's going to be fantastic. Look over here to my left, and this is also part of the property where they dug and built a lake, and you're actually just now starting to see it fill up, but you can see all the cover and structure that they put in the lake, and it's been filling naturally, and that's going to be part of a primitive camping, mountain bike trail, and some other stuff that they have planned for Ditto Landing. One thing that they have planned is as you're going down the road right here, I'll show you guys how to find the KBF headquarters as we turn the corner. So if Austin, if you want to show these guys, when you come up, there's a hard switch back right here. And you basically, if you get to Hobbs Island gas station, you went too far, but what you're going to do is you're going to swing around and you're going to turn back this direction. And when you turn that corner, this is the greenway. So this road goes all the way down, crosses that new road, and goes all the way to the point, around through the marina, up over that hill, and then it continues on down to Redstone Arsenal. The plan right now is that after they build that road that they're finishing up down there, they're going to bring a road in off of Hobbs Island Road right here directly into the front of the KBF National Headquarters. And so I'll give you guys a quick peek at the front. So over the winter, we painted this building. And by we, I mean myself. Austin helped out some. The director of the property here, Brandy Quick's husband, helped out with the sprayer. And then myself and my daughter, Casey, were out here with a bunch of elbow grease and rollers. And we painted it green because that's kind of my favorite color, because it's the color of largemouth bass. It's kind of the KBF, traditional colors. Got my trailer parked here for now. Brought in a little shed that I'm going to use as my tackle tips shed. And then the idea with the front of the building is we're going to put the logo on there, and we're going to have it backlit and not use that as an entrance. But when you turn off the main road, you're just going to see the KBF National Headquarters. I'm going to flank it with a couple of warranty kayaks that are mounted to the front and just kind of give it that kayak fishing headquarters look. Before we go tour the inside of the headquarters, though, I want to give you another, quick tour of the proximity of where this thing's at and why we're here. One thing that you'll see is that just over my shoulder, so the kayak headquarters, the KBF headquarters is right there. Right down there is a boat ramp that is in disrepair, but they're going to be really improving it. Now, it's still usable, but it's in a little bit of disrepair. And so the idea is that they're taking out all of these boathouses, and then they're going to build a kayak launch to the right side of the boat ramp, and then encourage people to use the other boat ramp for small boats and jet skis and things like that. And this will become a dedicated canoe and kayak launch. The area that we're at right here, and we'll try to demonstrate it with either a Google Maps shot or a drone shot or something, is there's a back channel to the Tennessee River that splits off and comes right by here. There's another building down on the end that down the road may become part of the KBF complex. So I'm going to run you down there real quick, give you that lay of the land. But this little cove right here not only is ideal for kayak fishing demo days, it's ideal for having weekly clinics or maybe monthly clinics until we get big enough that we go to bi-weekly, and then hopefully get to the point where we can do classes and clinics once a week. Is we can also do demo days right here, and we can let you try before you buy. We can have gear swaps, and there's a lot of ideas, lots of kayak fishing 101, rigging clinics and stuff like that. But right down this little road right here to the left is the back channel to the Tennessee River. And as long as it's not blown out and they're not pulling, 40,000 plus on the main river, it is also some really good, in a mile stretch, you've got every possible target, from chunk rock to laydowns to brush piles to just the edges of the erosion part of the bank. You got switchbacks and channel cuts, and then the back channel cuts back into this cove back here, which creates a bait fish gathering point and a place for the largemouth to come in and smash them. And then on the other side, there's a culvert that brings warm water in when it rains. So in the wintertime, this little pocket right here is fantastic for bank fishing. It's also great for kayak fishing. But there's a couple little buildings right here that, there's some potential plans for moving or expanding KBF down towards this end. If that works out, great. If it doesn't, we've got everything we need down at the end. But just a beautiful view down that shot right there, if you want to show them, Austin, of the back channel of the Tennessee River. So again, there's just a ton of stuff going on here. I'll put a link to the Ditto Landing master plan in the description box for those of you that really kind of are more interested in it. But this cove right here, actually this is probably a better shot up here. This cove right here is the same as the setup with Aldrich Creek. Even when the Tennessee River's blown out, because of the way that you've got to come into it backwards and the water flow doesn't come in here, it just greens up real quick. It clears up real quick, and it's loaded with bait fish, loaded with everything from largemouth to smallmouth to spotted bass. I've yet to see a major tournament going on where I didn't see an Elite Series Pro, NPFL Pro, a Toyota Big 5 Pro come hit this cove. So that's how good of a fishing spot it is, and it's within a 2-minute walk from the KBF national headquarters, or maybe a 1-minute walk. But this is going to be one of the places that we start hosting events, get-togethers, clinics and things along those lines. But I've talked enough now about why I'm here. Let's go take a look at the HQ, and let's talk about what the future plans are for developing it into a little cool rigging and media epicenter for kayak fishing. So here we go. All right, so as I stated before we came over here, it's gonna take a little bit of vision. First and foremost, we did the whole outside color change. There's some wood that I need to replace. There's some other things that I need to do. Fortunately for me, the kayak fishing community is really supportive and like a big family. So there's a trailer right here loaded with wood from Dan Hardy. Dan Hardy is the director of the Howe chapter for North Alabama. And so we're going to be helping out with him with that Howe chapter, but he's also going to be helping us out quite a bit with some sweat equity. He's also got access to some wood from a couple of buildings that were torn down. And so we're going to use all of our resources to make this thing cool, to make it a comprehensive workspace, but simultaneously repurposing as much stuff as we can. One of my first ideas is for the exterior. Because we're going to have so much gear inside, and it's going to be, imperative that we install security cameras, live stream cameras, and make it a much more difficult to access the property, is we're just going to cover these windows completely, because we're going to have to light for filming. And if we're going to light for filming, we need to really be able to control the lighting. So that's going to be all, lighting that we do interior. So these windows are super old. The building is pretty old. And so what my plan is just frame this out and cover it with signage that is lifestyle imagery. My son Austin is a fantastic photographer, so we're just gonna find some really cool kayak fishing shots, get those printed on graphics, kind of like the way you wrap a vehicle, and then mount those over the windows, which will give the outside of the building a really cool kayak fishing look. If you spin around real quick, there's a little outbuilding right here that I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do with yet. We know that this little porch is rotten and has to come off, and the roof has to come off, but there's some good bones there for maybe building an outdoor kitchen, maybe turning it into a smoker, and then turn this outside area in here into a place where if you book a guided trip with me, or if you come here to do some YouTube content, it's just a cool place to hang out, cook out, and do some fun and fellowship. And then ultimately we can even do some smaller, more intimate clinics here at the HQ. But without further ado, let's take a look at the inside. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is gonna be overhauled and it's in kind of rough shape. For the most part, we're using it for storage right now. I apologize for the lighting. Some of these light bulbs need to be changed and I haven't had a chance to change them yet. But this space right here, we're gonna put a washer dryer in here so we can use that for washing our gear and stuff like this. Basically, this is gonna be a mud room, for lack of a better way of explaining it. So we're gonna use this as a mud room. We're gonna replace this kitchen sink, or this sink right here, with a sink for cleaning fish, for cleaning game and things like that, as we do some live game cooking videos that I wanna make part of the future of my content creation. So if you look at it now, I want you guys to take a snapshot mentally of what's here, because the goal is to turn this thing into something that when it's all said and done, most people can't believe it came from what it was before. So coming on in, we've got a little storage closet right here, which I plan on putting a bunch of gear in modular. One of my ideas is to put the decked boxes outfitted with the different types of gear. So when we pull in and we're getting ready for our next adventure, all we have to do is take the decked boxes that have the specific gear, swap them out with my drawer system, and it makes life easier for, preparing for that next adventure. Not 100% sure what we're gonna do with the whole shelving thing. Again, there's gonna be a laundry / mud / storage room, but we also plan on doing some fish and game processing and preparation in here. So we may end up putting a deep freeze or, other type of deal in here. Now, I've done a little bit of work in this area simply to knock out some of the cabinets, to get rid of some of the little buddies that like to hang out here. There's some little mice friends in here for now. Again, just because it hasn't been occupied in, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And you can kind of tell. But the game plan here is to completely rip all this out. Rip the cabinets out, rip this whole area out, and we're gonna finish the walls with whatever reclaimed wood that we can. And then we're gonna put in a couple of, for lack of a better way of putting it, these work tables from like Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that, and then fashion a sink into that, and then use that for like open storage. I don't need or want cabinets, especially when you're this close to the river and you have the potential to get little critters that wanna hang out here. I want as much open stuff as I possibly can. It'll make pest control easier and it'll give them less places for those little critters to hide. These storage cabinets we have for business files, and then also for backup lures and fly tying materials and things like that. So that'll go back into the lure craft / fly tying room that I'll show you guys in just a second. But the first project that we're gonna tackle is the podcast room. So again, it's gonna take some vision, so you guys bear with me here. This little wall right here is gonna come out. We're gonna paint this ceiling black and replace the ceiling panels that we can. And then the idea is to make it really a perfect little podcast space. So on the other side of that wall right there is what's going to be Austin's office / the editing room / the media room. That'll be the places we take, photography for products, the place that we set up a standing desk for editing, a standing desk for managing and producing the podcast. We're going to finish up this wall as a backdrop. This is going to be the podcast table. This table was built for me by a friend of mine, Mike McKinstry. So this will be the podcast table. This table was built for me by a buddy of mine named Mike McKinstry, who has the Rusty Hammer side business, and he did a phenomenal job. It's branded. It's cool. So I think we're just going to use this for the podcast table. He actually put some cool KBF logos down the side, spray painted in some into the top. So for now, this is going to be the podcast table. It's going to be a cool place to have meetings and get-togethers and things like that with sponsors that are in town, with other, you know, YouTubers or influencers are in town, or for you knuckleheads, if you're in town and you want to meet up and just talk shop, the Kayak Bass headquarters is going to be pretty much open to everybody, you know, provided that we're here and we don't have anything major going on. So again, first thing we're going to do is build that wall out as a backdrop, finish that wall out as another backdrop, finish this wall out, and the idea is potentially to blow a hole in this wall. So if you want to come in here, this is probably our most close to finished space, but it's dated, you know, so probably what's going to happen in here is we're going to reuse these old doors that were from another project here at Ditto Landing as some of the materials for finishing the walls out, because again, we're going to try to repurpose as much as we can. If you guys want to come on inside, it's just a panel room. It's like from the 70s, you know, or maybe even 60s. Probably slap a coat of paint on this. Again, I'm thinking we're going to open this up so there's a pass-through, put a fold-down door over it so when Austin needs privacy for editing, he can close it off, but when we need to open it up so that it's that producer area for the podcast, then we can do that. Probably going to build this wall out as like a media wall, put some soft boxes in here for taking lure photos or reel photos or rod photos. That's the window that I was showing you guys from the outside that we'll cover. That way we can manage the lighting when we need to. And then again, this closet right here is on the back side of that decked closet. These are my fly tying materials. This is my old fly tying desk, and then I have another desk in the trailer outside that we're going to set up the next room over to make that a fly tying / art, because I'm going to get back and embrace my artistic side with drawing and things like that, and then also tying flies. I used to really love tying flies. Not like a little bit. I'm talking about like I used to obsess over tying flies, and it also kind of helps scratch that artistic niche. So we'll come on over to the next room. This room was going to be my office. It's a little more rough. Same kind of concept, paneling. Not a lot has to be done, but the idea is to come in here, you know, paint the ceiling, paint the walls, finish out the walls with some accent pieces if necessary. I've got my drafting / drawing / fly tying / craft table, and that's going to be the desk as well. And then we're just going to finish this thing out. I'm going to throw a bed in here so that if I need to stay over here because I'm working late, or if I've got a transient friend in town or something that wants a place to crash, so that we can go fishing. For giveaways, I'll make that part of the comprehensive program for when you guys come fish with me. You can actually crash here if you want to. Just right now, again, you're going to have to use some vision. There's a lot of crap in here that during the quick divorce move, I just moved a bunch of stuff down, kind of threw it in here. There's a nice little closet in here where I've been storing some of the upcoming video products. I've got some of my military stuff in here. One of the things that I'm doing by going through the process of embracing and kind of facing some of my demons that I dealt with my military careers, I'm also going to start putting back up, you know, some of the memorabilia that I acquired over my career. This is a plaque I got from the USS Theodore Roosevelt. As you can see right there, it says Lieutenant Chad Hoover, CPI officer, you know, IM3 and Division 4 Divo. That was the jobs I did while I was on there. That's the shape of the flight deck, and it's just one of those cool things that when I look at it, it will remind me of my time, not just in the Navy, but my time in that specific unit. And I'm going to do a lot more of that, okay? These are one of my these are one of my favorite possessions. These are my fins. Hold on a second. So these are one. Wow. All right. So these are one of my favorite possessions. These are my fins from when I was a rescue swimmer in the Navy. The way you do your gear is you put your last 2 initials and the last 4 of your social on there. And yeah, the last rescue that I got, or the last mission that I went on with these fins, was a mission that turned out to not be a rescue. It was actually a recovery. And one of the guys on that crashed was like a really close personal friend of mine, and so I didn't expect that. But I'm gonna hang a lot of this stuff up, is what I'm getting at, to make it where it reminds me of where I came from and what I've done and the things that I should be proud of, instead of hiding them and putting them in a box or putting them in a hole like I legitimately did for about 10 years. And then turn this into a space where I feel inspired to create, bringing out some old lures that I've worked on and some, ones that I need to overhaul, and getting out the drawing desk and starting to mess around with that creative side of me again, I think is going to make me a lot more fulfilled. And so anyway, so this will be my office. Coming on back in here to the podcast room. Probably the roughest room in the whole thing is the bathroom. So if you guys have some YouTube videos out there, if you're one of those do-it-yourselfers where you can say, hey man, here's a cool video on how to redo a bathroom, put those links in the description box for me, because that way I don't have to go spend hours looking through YouTube videos about how to finish out a bathroom. The idea in here is to just tear this stuff all out, finish the walls up, tile in the bathroom, and then finish out the other side. I want to take this vanity out and put something cool in here, like a whiskey barrel or something. So if you guys have any cool ideas about how to redo a bathroom, drop those links in the comment section below. For this video, I'm going to read every freaking comment on this thing, because if you have ideas for kitchens, for bathrooms, for podcast rooms, for offices that can save me money, can save me time, and we can create a cool and creative space, then I'm definitely interested in that, and I appreciate it. So y'all, again, you DIY guys out there that are fans of channels, like I know I'm going to be using my good buddy John Malecki for a lot of this, because he's John the Builder, really creative dude. And so I'm going to be bending his ear quite a bit. But for those of you that are really into that kind of stuff, and woodworking and crafts and home remodeling, again, drop me some links in the description box below. Now, moving into this room, I think the podcast room is going to be fun. It's going to be a place where we create a lot of videos. It's going to be where I shoot a lot of commentary pieces. But the room where I think we're going to have the most fun is probably the room where you're going to have the most vision. Okay, so again, right now we just have a bunch of crap in here, but that is the main entrance, or used to be the main entrance. So we're going to cover that up, and we're going to build in the wiring behind that to light the front of the building. And when I say we, I really mean my son Austin, because he's the actual electrician in the family. And so again, we'll be able to save a little bit of money there, because we're going to benefit from his past career. But the idea is that we're going to blow that wall completely out. And just for kind of proximity, that shack that we're going to be using for tackle is right outside that door. And so we're going to blow that wall out and try to put a garage door in there that opens up. We'll use that closet for storage. And then we're going to cover all of these walls with wood to make it look like a workshop, or in some industrial materials to make it look industrial. And then the idea is to have all of our tools, our skill saws, our drills, everything in here, to where when it comes time to rig a kayak, all we have to do is roll that door up. We can mount some camera mounts. My son Austin can set up and film, and then we can roll right over to the media room to edit it. But this is going to be the rigging room. The idea behind this is we rig all of our boats and film it. We do all of our little small how to modify kayaks, how to install an anchor trolley, how to install a depth finder, how to install a side handle, how to repair a hole, how to, anything you can think of when it comes to kayak fishing. This room right here is going to be the room. And then the idea behind this is to set it up to where not only is it perfectly optimized for rigging, all the tools are where you need them, everything in its place and a place for everything, but it's also easy to access with a trailer. So if one of you knuckleheads happens to be in town and you need some help rigging your boat out, I've actually put a feature on my guide service page where you can pay for a day of rigging. And that's going to include access to all the tools, all the gear, hardware, everything you need to completely rig your boat out. And we'll spend the entire day with you, helping you rig it, but we'll also film it and put it on the YouTube channel so that other folks can benefit from it. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. But we're charging for it because we're using that money to reinvest into the Howe chapter in North Alabama. And once we get the Howe chapter in North Alabama to have everything that they need, then we're going to branch out and start funding other chapters and individuals to get veterans and homeland heroes on the water. So this is the space I'm most excited about, but it's also the space that I'm the most intimidated by, because this isn't my wheelhouse, building things and remodeling buildings and doing those kind of things. So again, if you've got some ideas for the perfect kayak rigging room / garage / studio, or if you've seen a cool video, or if you are a content creator that also does this kind of stuff, drop some links in the comment section below to the videos on the ultimate garage build, or the ultimate, you know, man cave, or the ultimate whatever. Any really cool ideas that you guys see. I don't do Pinterest because, and don't be offended by this if you do Pinterest as a man, but I'm a man, so I don't really do Pinterest. So I need you guys to be my Pinterest. Go out there and find all these cool ideas. Or, I mean, okay, and then comment in the comment section and be like, dude, you're missing out if you're not on Pinterest. And then maybe I'll consider getting on there, because from everything I've ever heard from everybody that talks about it, it's a great place to get ideas. So link up anything you can in the description box to help us come up with the best possible studio for creating content for you guys, cool headquarters. And then one of the things that I'm gonna do is start building out, you know, pictures and photos and things to almost make it like not only a studio, but like a kayak fishing museum, if you will. And in fact, I'm going to go see if I can find a product real quick to show you guys that would be, oh, wait, here it is right here. The first product in the kayak fishing museum would be this right here. This is the original Yak Attack, back when Yak Attack had the killer fishbone logo. This is a chair leg on a piece of furniture grade PVC with the Princeton Tech light on it, with 2 connectors and a flag. And this was the original Visi pole. This is where Yak Attack started. So to see where Yak Attack started to where they are now, and when I say this is the original, this is the one. This is the first product that Yak Attack ever sent me. It was still in the prototype phase, and I believed in Luther and his vision enough from the beginning to say, yeah, you got a great product, now let's build on that. And most people were back then were saying, it's a piece of PVC pipe with a light on the end, I can do that myself. And you could, but it's also great to have a company out there that's got the vision to go from this to pretty much everything you need to rig your boat to make it yours. So again, I'm going a little bit sentimental right now, but we're gonna also use this as a place to do trips down memory lane, make it a little bit of a living museum for the kayak fishing community. And then hopefully we can expand into a bigger space down the road and truly turn that into a homage to the sport of kayak fishing, and start to build that out so we can document our history before we get too far away from its roots. Again, this is it. This is the KBF HQ. Again, guys, thanks for hanging out with this video. I know it's a little bit different, but I want to start bringing you guys the backstory of the evolution of my life, of the brand, of the impact that you guys have, and the things that we'll be able to do down the road with the Knucklehead series, the Knucklehead brand, the Fish Ops brand, what we're doing with KBF. And I really say sincerely from the bottom of my heart, you guys are helping us change lives. So please consider joining KBF. The link is always in the description box. And if each one of you knuckleheads can reach one knucklehead to join, we can really double what we have at our disposal when it comes to resources to be able to do more and more and invest back into the community. So thanks for watching today's video. We're gonna get some sledgehammers and get to work.